Hi friends, I'm Scott Giles and welcome to Power Talk, my podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I cover topics related to spirituality, hypnotic coaching, and the hypnotic arts and sciences generally. If you'd like to know more about my professional work or sign up for my free e-newsletter, Power Lines, check out my website, which I'll tag at the end of this video. Now, it's a difficult topic today, and one that may be misunderstood by a few. I'll try to be as clear as I can because today I want to talk about the difference between responsibility and fault. This was suggested to me by a client interaction I had some years ago. The client was depressed and in appropriate treatment for that mental illness. But the client took the view that because they had a mental health issue, that was sort of like a get out of jail free card for them. They went around treating other people in their life awfully. People who found themselves snapped at, blamed for things they had no control over, ignored, were not at all clear about how to deal with this person. And when I pointed out that this behavior was hurtful to others and that these other people were not to blame for the fact the client felt bad, my observation was airily dismissed. "I have a mental illness," they said. "Therefore, the things I do to others are not my fault. They are caused by my depression, and I don't have to do anything or make any apology for them because they're not my fault." Well, I had to take exception. Now, I'm not into beating someone up because they have a disability. I am a hard of hearing person, and so I've got one myself. And my wife of 40 years is handicapped. I mean, I get the burden that a disability brings in its wake. And yeah, chronic depression is a disability. What it is not is a hunting license that allows one to go around hurting and taking advantage of other people with no responsibility taken for doing that. That's not a disability you're coping with. That's cruelty. That's taking advantage. I have literally met some people who think that their mental problems excuse them from any of the conventions of polite society and feel just fine about letting other people down. I do not believe that is the way. As I explained to my client that they were most definitely not at fault for having a disability, in this case chronic depression, but while they are not at fault, they are responsible. If you have hurt someone, you don't just get off of moral responsibility for having done that because you have a disability. If you hurt someone, you owe an apology and you probably owe amends. You may not be able to do it when in the midst of dealing with your problem, but on better days, apology and amends can be made. Now, I have found this to be a hard pill for some people to swallow, but it's something I really believe in. And interestingly enough, it is a core principle of all 12-step programs. You do a moral inventory and list the people you hurt, and then as far as reasonably possible, you tell them you're sorry and you make amends. There really is no other way to get to a position of balance and emotional health yourself. Now, over the years, I've seen some people who are real superstars about this. People with serious psychiatric issues that cause them to commit unintended harm to others. Some of them realized they tended to do this and so taught themselves to take steps. They would leave meetings or gatherings when they realized that they were losing it and approaching the point of harm. Good for them. Or later, when they felt stronger, they would reach out with an expression of regret. I'm sorry, I struggle with depression, bipolar, and so on, and it messes me up. Sometimes I regret that I hurt your feelings. A superstar. I was one of the people who had my feelings hurt by one of those people, and that expression of regret made it okay because I understood, and they were not saying they were entitled to hurt me. Now, in a related matter, we all have our own stuff that we have to deal with. No one gets to adulthood without some emotional scars and baggage, and some of us have a lot of scars and baggage. We're often not at fault because the baggage or scars we have was done to us by other people, an abusive family, someone who took advantage, someone who victimized us. Not our fault. But if it's our stuff, then there is a responsibility, I believe, to deal with your stuff. Now, my family of origin on the maternal side has more than its share of messed up people. I emerged from that as an adult with issues, fear of abandonment, anger, and a list of others. But I didn't excuse myself because I had a rough upbringing. I didn't go around inflicting myself on others, at least I hope not. Instead, I did the work. I studied, got help, learned emotional self-regulation. I learned how to self-soothe. I tried to take responsibility for my stuff. And that is the path to a good, healthy, psychological life. I really believe, in fact, that this is the task of adulthood. We can't go through life blaming other people or external things like a disability for our problems. At the end of the day, they are our problems, and we have to deal with them. We take responsibility for that, even if they're not our fault. Now, I'm certainly still a work in progress and will be until the day I die, but I do try to take responsibility. So how about you? You got stuff that you rub off onto others? What can you do about that? At the very least, you can let them know you regret doing that. Are you in a relationship with someone who blames you for things that are actually their responsibility? If so, think long and hard about whether there is going to be health in that relationship for you and whether or not it's even going to be sustainable. There are a lot of things that can be our responsibility even if they are not our fault. How we deal with that reality, I believe, is a big-time spiritual test. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject. I'd like to invite you to join me. It really helps me if you let others know about my work and my videos, so please like, share, and subscribe. And if I can be of help to you, feel free to reach out through email, my website, or my Patreon channel. Have a great week.